Most people are told that meat cannot make blood sugar jump, yet every week I meet patients who feel shaky and parched after dinner, and the meter tells the same uneasy story. The spike arrived late, and their heart worked harder through the night. Here is the twist I learned at the bedside over many years. It is rarely the presence of meat that causes trouble. It is the type you choose and the way you cook it. If you stay with me, I will give you a calmer way to put protein on your plate so your numbers glide instead of swing, and your heart thanks you in the morning. The simple step you can try tonight is this. Trade a heavy fried or breaded cut for a lean, unprocessed piece cooked gently with herbs and a little olive oil, then fill the rest of the plate with non-starchy vegetables, and notice how your energy holds steady. Let me explain why this works in plain language. Protein slows the march of carbohydrates through your gut, softening the rise in blood sugar, but excess saturated fat and added sodium pull in the opposite direction by stiffening blood vessels, nudging insulin to work less efficiently, and trapping fluid that leaves you short of breath and tired. Processed meats often carry the silent burdens of preservatives and salt, and pan-frying with breading invites refined starch and extra oils that turn dinner into a slow-burning fuse. By contrast, lean cuts of poultry and certain fish deliver protein without that heavy baggage, and the natural fats in cold water fish can ease the inflammation that so often rides with diabetes. There is no flawless choice, so we weigh clear advantages and drawbacks. The advantage of a lean, unprocessed cut is steadier glucose, easier portion control, and less strain on the heart, while the drawback is that too little protein can leave you hungry and vulnerable to late-night snacking. The advantage of fatty or processed meats is obvious to the tongue and to convenience. Yet the drawback is real. More saturated fat and sodium raise cardiometabolic risk and can blur your insulin response. Even cooking methods have a bright side and a shadow. Grilling or baking with simple seasoning keeps the plate light, while charring and heavy sauces add compounds and sugars that your body must negotiate all night. Extreme restriction has a cost. Cutting out every bite of red meat may backfire if it pushes you toward ultra-processed substitutes high in starch and additives. So I teach balance, modest portions, careful preparation, and vegetables covering half the plate. You deserve evidence you can trust. And major medical groups consistently note that protein itself does not raise blood glucose the way refined carbohydrates do, that processed meats are associated with higher cardiometabolic risk, and that replacing part of the saturated fat load with healthier fats can improve heart markers. I keep the tone warm because what you need is not a lecture, but a path. Start with a lean piece of skinless poultry or a piece of salmon about the size of your palm. Season with lemon or garlic. Roast or grill until just done. Then sit without fear and watch how your energy feels a few hours later. The promise is not perfection. The promise is a quieter line on your meter and a steadier morning. Stay with me, because in the next part I will name the specific meats that make this easier, and I will show you how to enjoy them without losing the comfort of a good meal. Most people assume that chicken is always a safe bet for blood sugar, yet I have sat with more than a few patients who looked puzzled when their glucose still climbed after dinner, even though they thought they had chosen the healthy path. Here lies the twist. Skinless chicken breast is indeed one of the strongest allies for someone managing diabetes. But it only earns that role when you prepare it with care and balance it with the right partners on your plate. Protein from chicken breast slows the rush of carbohydrates into your bloodstream, creating a steadier flow of energy, a principle long recognized by the American Diabetes Association. The clear advantage of choosing chicken breast without skin is that it delivers lean, high-quality protein with very little saturated fat, helping to protect the heart and support weight management. Yet no food is flawless. The drawback of chicken appears when the method of cooking turns it from a friend into a foe. Frying with breading adds refined starch and unhealthy oils, while charring at high heat creates compounds that place stress on your body. Another drawback is subtle. When eaten alone without vegetables or healthy fat, chicken can leave you unsatisfied, driving you to open the pantry late at night in search of something sweet. I recall a woman in her early 60s who avoided chicken for months after she felt shaky and tired one evening. She had eaten it coated in batter and dipped in sugary sauce. When we looked closer, the culprit was not the chicken itself, but the preparation. Once she tried a simple grilled breast, seasoned with lemon and paired with roasted peppers and broccoli drizzled with olive oil. Her glucose stayed calm, and she felt steady energy through the evening. Science supports her story. Several clinical studies confirm that diets rich in lean protein improve insulin sensitivity and lower the risk of long-term complications. But science also cautions that context matters. Portion size, side dishes, and preparation make the difference between a healing meal and a hidden setback. The action I suggest for tonight is gentle yet powerful. Choose a palm-sized portion of skinless chicken breast, season with herbs, grill or bake it slowly, and fill half of your plate with non-starchy vegetables. Then take note of how you feel 2 hours later. The steadiness of your body may surprise you. What may begin as a small change can set the stage for a new rhythm of eating that carries you with more confidence into tomorrow. Stay with me, because in the next part I will reveal another protein that not only steadies your glucose, but also nourishes your heart in ways chicken alone cannot. Most people believe that eating fish in any form guarantees better blood sugar and a healthier heart. Yet, I often sit across from patients who shake their heads in frustration because their glucose still runs high, even after several fish dinners each week. Here is the surprising truth I have learned. Fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, and anchovies can be among the most healing choices for someone with diabetes, but their benefits appear only when you select them wisely and prepare them gently. The gift of these fish lies in their omega-3 fatty acids, natural compounds that soothe inflammation, sharpen insulin sensitivity, and shield the heart from strain. The American Heart Association has long emphasized that 2 modest servings of fatty fish each week can lower the risk of cardiovascular disease, a threat that walks hand in hand with diabetes. Yet we must speak honestly about the drawbacks. Farm-raised salmon may carry residues from crowded pens, canned sardines can hide excess sodium, and larger predatory fish may contain traces of mercury that your body does not need. There is also the barrier of cost. Fresh salmon is not cheap in every community, and that reality can discourage regular use. I remember a gentleman in his late 60s who had avoided fish for decades, bothered by its smell, and worried that it would upset his stomach. One evening, his daughter placed a small piece of salmon on his plate, seasoned only with lemon and garlic, baked until tender, and paired with roasted cauliflower. He called me the next day with surprise in his voice. His glucose had remained calm through the night, and he had woken with a steady energy he had not felt in years. His story mirrors the science. Simple preparation and moderate portions unlock the promise of fatty fish. The action I invite you to take is practical and safe. Aim for 2 palm-sized servings of salmon or sardines this week, grilled, baked, or gently pan-seared with olive oil and fresh herbs. Sit down without fear. Taste the richness, and notice how your body responds a few hours later. That small step may not only stabilize your sugar but also protect your heart and mind for the years ahead. Stay close, because the next choice on our list is a meat that many dismiss at first. Yet when chosen carefully, it can bring strength and stability in ways that surprise almost everyone. Most people have been told to avoid pork altogether, convinced that it will sabotage their blood sugar and burden the heart. Yet, after decades at the bedside, I have learned a more surprising truth. Pork is not the enemy. The cut and the method of preparation make all the difference. Pork tenderloin, the leanest portion of the animal, can in fact be a trusted ally for someone living with diabetes. It delivers high-quality protein with very little saturated fat, helping your body slow the rise of blood sugar and protecting the vessels that keep your heart strong. The Mayo Clinic and other respected medical groups note that lean cuts of pork fit safely into a balanced diabetic plan, and clinical studies have even shown improved weight control when processed meats are replaced with tenderloin. Still, every food carries a shadow. The drawback of pork is that it contains cholesterol, and when breaded, fried, or drowned in heavy sauces, it loses its advantage and begins to strain both blood vessels and metabolism. Another drawback is perception. I have met countless patients who cut pork from their lives out of fear, only to feel deprived and anxious at family meals. One man in his early 70s comes to mind. He had avoided pork for nearly a decade, telling me he could not risk it. One Sunday, his daughter served him a small portion of oven-roasted tenderloin rubbed with garlic, rosemary, and a drizzle of olive oil, paired with steamed zucchini. He ate with hesitation, then called me later that night in relief. His glucose had stayed steady, his stomach felt light, and perhaps most importantly, he felt included at the family table again. That moment taught him, and reminded me, that food is not only about numbers but about belonging and joy. Science supports his experience. Lean tenderloin offers the strength of protein without the burden of excess saturated fat, while processed pork like bacon or sausage raises cardiometabolic risk. The lesson is clear. Balance and preparation transform pork from a feared meat into a safe and satisfying choice. My gentle suggestion for you this week is to replace just one serving of processed pork with a palm-sized portion of roasted tenderloin, seasoned simply and surrounded by vegetables. Take note of how your body feels and how your mind rests easier, knowing you are not deprived. That small swap can restore flavor, confidence, and trust in your own ability to guide your health. Stay close, because in the next part, I will show you how even a cut of red meat long thought to be off limits can bring comfort and stability when chosen with care. Most people have been told to stay away from red meat if they want to control diabetes, convinced that every bite of beef will push them closer to heart trouble. Yet what I have witnessed in practice is far more nuanced. Not all red meat is created equal, and one cut in particular, filet mignon, offers a gentler path. Filet mignon is the leanest and most tender portion of beef, providing rich protein with very little saturated fat. That balance matters because protein slows the entry of carbohydrates into the bloodstream, softening the rise in glucose and supplying the steady energy that so many of my patients crave. Health and the American Diabetes Association have both noted that lean red meat, when enjoyed in modest portions and combined with vegetables, does not worsen blood sugar control and can fit within a heart-conscious diet. Still, every food carries its limits. The drawback of beef is that it contains cholesterol, and, when consumed in excess, red meat has been linked with increased risk of cardiovascular disease and, in some studies, colon cancer. The second drawback is portion size. A large steak, even if lean, can overwhelm the body with protein and fat and undo the very benefits we seek. I remember a woman in her late 60s who had avoided steak for nearly a decade. She sat silently during Sunday dinners, watching her family enjoy beef while she ate something separate, feeling left out. One evening, her son placed a small fillet on her plate, seared lightly with olive oil, and paired with roasted spinach and broccoli. With hesitation, she ate, expecting her glucose to surge. To her surprise, her numbers remained calm through the night, and she called me the next morning with a voice full of relief. It was not the food itself that had betrayed her. It was the portion and the preparation. Science echoes her discovery. Lean red meat, when chosen with care, seasoned simply, and kept to a palm-sized serving, provides protein without flooding the body with saturated fat. The action I encourage for you this week is to reclaim, rather than reject, a food you may have loved. Try a small filet mignon, grilled or broiled with lemon or garlic, and share it at the table with vegetables filling half your plate. Taste the tenderness, feel the steadiness of your body a few hours later, and remind yourself that managing diabetes does not mean living in exile from the foods you once enjoyed. Balance, not fear, is the lasting path. Stay with me, because the next meat may seem ordinary, yet when chosen carefully, it can become a powerful ally for your blood sugar and your immune system alike. Most people think that all turkey is a healthy choice. Yet after many years of practice, I have seen how this belief can quietly mislead. Not every slice of turkey is equal. Skinless turkey breast roasted fresh in your kitchen can be one of the most supportive proteins for blood sugar and heart health, while processed deli turkey packed with salt, sugar, and preservatives can quietly push blood pressure higher and leave your body struggling. This is the paradox many patients discover too late. The true advantage of skinless turkey breast is its simplicity. It offers high-quality protein with very little fat, and it carries nutrients like niacin, which helps your body turn food into energy, and selenium, which supports the immune system. These quiet gifts matter greatly when you live with diabetes, because fatigue and lowered immunity often walk beside you. Yet we must also face the drawbacks. Turkey breast, when cooked carelessly, can become dry and tasteless, leading people to abandon it. Some frozen or prepackaged turkeys are injected with sodium solutions that undo the very health benefits we seek. I remember a woman in her early 60s who leaned on deli turkey sandwiches for years, convinced she was making the safer choice. Her blood sugar stayed unstable, and her blood pressure crept upward. When she finally tried roasting a small turkey breast at home, brushed with olive oil, rubbed with garlic and rosemary, and served with roasted green beans, she called me the next week with joy. Her numbers had improved, and for the first time in years, she felt satisfied at the table without fear. Science supports her story. Clinical reviews confirm that lean proteins like turkey can support weight management, improve insulin sensitivity, and reduce cardiovascular risk, while processed meats do the opposite. The gentle action I recommend for you this week is simple. Replace 1 serving of deli meat with a palm-sized portion of freshly roasted skinless turkey breast surrounded by colorful vegetables. Taste the difference. Feel the steadiness in your body a few hours later, and remind yourself that healthy eating does not mean bland eating. This small change is more than a recipe. It is a reminder that balance is within reach. Stay with me, because the next category, poultry in its many forms, holds even more surprises for your blood sugar and your sense of comfort at the table. Most people assume that all poultry is a safe and worry-free choice for someone with diabetes. Yet what I have seen through the years is that not every bird on the table carries the same story. Chicken and turkey breast stand as some of the leanest proteins you can place on your plate, offering the steady support of high-quality protein with very little saturated fat. That balance slows the surge of carbohydrates, steadies energy, and delivers nutrients like vitamin B6 and niacin that help your body turn food into fuel. The American Diabetes Association notes that including lean poultry regularly can aid in weight control, improve insulin sensitivity, and lower cardiovascular risk. Yet we must acknowledge the other side. Poultry skin soaked in oil, heavy gravies, and breaded coatings can undo these advantages, and duck, while deeply flavorful, is naturally higher in fat. Too much duck or poultry drowned in sauces can weigh on the heart and blur the very control we seek. I remember a man in his late 60s who had avoided duck for years, convinced it would ruin his progress. At a holiday dinner, his family offered him a modest slice of roasted duck served with cauliflower rice seasoned with garlic. Hesitant at first, he ate, then called me later in amazement that his glucose had remained calm and his energy did not crash. His story mirrors what science teaches us, that context, portion, and preparation are what matter most. The true advantage of poultry lies in its flexibility. You can enjoy a grilled chicken breast on a weekday, a roasted turkey salad for lunch, and on special occasions even a small slice of duck, as long as vegetables cover half your plate and the cooking remains simple. The drawback appears only when excess fat, sodium, or portion size creep in. The gentle action I suggest this week is to look at your plate and choose skinless chicken or turkey most of the time, and when duck appears, savor a modest slice, prepared simply and balanced with vegetables. This way you enjoy comfort, tradition, and variety without losing your control. Stay with me, because the next option may seem unusual at first glance, yet it carries dense nutrition that can restore both energy and confidence in ways few expect. Most people in America turn away from organ meats, thinking they are unsafe, unappetizing, or outdated. Yet after years of guiding patients, I have learned that this belief hides a surprising truth. Organ meats such as liver, heart, kidney, and tongue are among the most nutrient-dense foods a person can eat. They provide fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, along with abundant vitamin B12, which fuels red blood cell production, nerve health, and energy. For someone with diabetes, who often battles fatigue and nutrient deficiencies, this concentration of nutrition can feel like medicine that comes from the kitchen rather than the pharmacy. The clear advantage of organ meats is their density of nutrition. Ounce for ounce, they offer more vitamins and minerals than most cuts of muscle meat, and studies published through the National Institutes of Health confirm that moderate intake can improve energy and even support better insulin sensitivity. Yet, there are drawbacks we must name honestly. Liver in large amounts can deliver too much vitamin A, straining the liver itself. Organ meats also contain cholesterol, so portions must remain modest. And perhaps the greatest barrier is cultural. Many Americans recoil at the taste or texture, leaving these foods untouched. I recall a woman in her mid-60s who came to me exhausted, her blood sugar numbers creeping up and her energy sinking. She had never considered organ meats, dismissing them as unappealing. Together, we tried a gentle experiment. She mixed a small portion of beef liver, less than 1/3, with ground beef to make meatballs seasoned with garlic and herbs. A few weeks later, she returned with brighter eyes, reporting more steady energy and fewer late afternoon crashes. Her story reflects what science tells us, that small amounts of organ meats, introduced thoughtfully, can provide real support. The gentle action I invite you to take is not radical. Add a modest portion of organ meat into a familiar dish like chili, tacos, or meatballs. Start small, taste carefully, and notice how your body responds. You may discover that what once seemed foreign becomes a quiet ally, giving you more energy and confidence to manage diabetes without fear. Stay with me, because now that we have explored each of these 7 choices, we can bring them together into a bigger picture of how food can become both healing and joyful on your journey. Most people believe that managing diabetes means a life of restriction, as if every meal must be stripped of flavor and joy. Yet what I have learned through years of listening to patients is the opposite. When you choose wisely, food becomes a partner, not a prison. Think of the 7 meats we have traveled through together as tools inside a strong wooden chest, each one offering its own purpose. Skinless chicken steadies glucose with lean protein. Fatty fish like salmon and sardines soothe inflammation and protect the heart. Pork tenderloin shows that even pork can be transformed into a safe ally when chosen lean. Filet mignon proves that red meat, in the right cut and portion, can bring comfort without fear. Skinless turkey breast reminds us that simple foods can restore strength without hidden salt. Poultry as a whole, from weekday chicken to an occasional slice of duck, offers both tradition and balance. And organ meats, though often overlooked, provide dense nutrition that rekindles energy. The advantage of seeing them together is that variety prevents boredom, balance replaces anxiety, and each meal becomes an opportunity for healing. The drawback is only that no food is perfect, so preparation and moderation remain our constant guides. I think of a patient who once felt cornered by a bland diet, her joy at the table gone. When she learned to rotate these choices, roasting salmon one night, enjoying tenderloin another, trying turkey at lunch, she not only saw her glucose improve, but also rediscovered the pleasure of eating with family. Her laughter at the table was as healing as the food itself. Science supports what she felt. Clinical studies confirm that lean proteins paired with healthy fats and vegetables improve insulin sensitivity, reduce cardiovascular risk, and restore energy. The gentle action I urge you to take is to open this toolbox for yourself. Choose one of these meats for your next meal. Prepare it simply, let vegetables cover half your plate, and notice the steadiness that follows. Remember that progress, not perfection, is the real goal. Each choice is a quiet victory, a signal to your body that you are cared for. Now I invite you to join me in community. Share with me which of these meats you enjoy most and how you prepare it. Your story may be the very spark that gives someone else the courage to take their own step forward. Because in this journey with diabetes, none of us walks alone, and every shared voice strengthens the circle of hope we are building together. Many people believe that managing diabetes is a race, a finish line to reach with perfect discipline. Yet what I have seen in a lifetime of practice is something far gentler and far more hopeful. True health is not built in one day or one meal. It is built brick by brick, plate by plate, through the steady rhythm of small choices that add up over time. Each lean piece of chicken, each serving of salmon, each thoughtful portion of tenderloin or turkey, each experiment with organ meats becomes more than food. It becomes a quiet declaration that you are choosing life and strength. The advantage of embracing this mindset is that progress feels possible, sustainable, and kind. The drawback of chasing perfection is that it burns out the spirit and leaves people discouraged. I remember a patient who once clung to strict rules, fearing every bite. Her anxiety grew until she gave up entirely. When she learned to welcome balance instead of fear, to take one small step at a time, she not only regained control of her glucose, but also found peace at her family table. Science confirms her story. Decades of research show that consistent, modest changes in diet and lifestyle yield results that last longer than extremes. This is why I invite you to see every meal not as punishment but as possibility. The meats we explored together are tools in your hands, ready to steady your sugar, protect your heart, and restore your energy when used with care. Picture each choice as a stone laid on the path toward a future where you remain strong, independent, and connected to those you love. My closing invitation is simple but powerful. At your next meal, choose with intention. Then share your story with me. Tell me which meat gave you confidence, which recipe brought you joy, because your words may be the spark that lights another person's way. In this way, we build more than healthier bodies. We build a circle of support where no one walks alone. Take care of yourself. Keep choosing foods that love you back. And remember that hope grows stronger when it is shared. This is the true ending, and also the true beginning of your journey, with food and with health.